All right, welcome guys to a SFX Trading Group live stream. So it's 6:45 a.m. The end of the month is here, so it's kind of crazy, guys. The October is just about over. Like we were just in summer, we were just in spring. We just started the group in January. Like that, it's crazy that it's October already. I'm kind of blown away. But let's get into GJ over here. Obviously, monthly looks like we're about to close above 156. The weekly, we were actually just talking about this, but weekly um, is holding support right here. Beautiful support too. Like I'm fully anticipating the next candle reaching 159 or 160 flat. If we get a beautiful just bottom wick over here formed, and then the next past the high of that candle, and then just continues up. If we get some volume, and obviously next month, as you guys know, they're thinking about increasing interest rates, right? So we're gonna have quite the move if that does actually happen. So that's what the weekly looks like, holding a nice support for the third time, actually four times. So 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, rejecting multiple times in the daily. So 4 days in a row, 5 days in a row now, we're rejecting 156, passing the high of this candle and continuing right back up. Are we going to break this level over here and then eventually 158? We shall see. 4 hour. Double tap right down here in a bullish trend. Very simple. Candles passing the high of the previous. Looking over here. Nice healthy bullish candle after forming a support over here at the previous resistance at 156,500. You get a little bit of a weak bearish candle over here, and now this candle starting to push, break the high of that candle, and continue right back up into potentially this area right over here. But first, we need to actually fill this wick right here. So 157,200 is our target so far on the 1 hour. Move this up. Right over here. I think first, before we reach this resistance right up here, which I definitely think we can, I just want to put my level right over here. Because if I'm going to take a scalp, it's going to be right up to this level, along with a 200 EMA as well, right up here. So this is going to be a key level, 157 flat. Right now, we're struggling to break 156,900. So we'll see how we're doing in that area right now. Now, we got this previous resistance right over here ended up becoming the new support, right? Rejecting in this area multiple times. That was actually a psychological level, 156,500, pretty critical level. Now we have this resistance up here, and it looks like price actually closed above 156,800, right? Which is good. Only thing that worries me right over here is these wicks over here and the lower time frames. But not only that, what you have right here is a strong body candle, right? But a long bottom wick. And then you got a weaker body candle with no top wick, and then a long bottom wick right back into this range. So that tells me sometimes price will start pushing up just like it did right over here, and then it'll end up rejecting. And then what you'll have is price coming right back down into this area, maybe consolidating over here, and then continuing up. So you just got to be aware of this when it comes to impulse entries. You could have squeezed 10 pips out of this, right? If you took this as this candle was flipping bullish, coming right back up, securing right up here, stop loss or break even. But at the same time, looking at we were actually just talking about this, looking at the 15-minute, you now have this level right over here that price needs to break above. The 30-minute, again, we broke above all these levels over here, but the 15-minute has this rejection that pushed us all the way back down to 156,500. Last time we were at 900, right? So that just tells me that we need a nice close above this level where we have about 20 pips to grab, 18 pips to grab once we reach 157, then eventually 157, 100, and then we could come back up to this level right up here potentially, if that's the case, if we do break this level down here first. But this is that first level I want to reach because we had a nice solid resistance right over here. Last time we were here, we just dropped, right? Now, at that point, we were dropping below the two EMAs. Now we're starting to come above both of them. But again, it's Friday. Like I said, with the weekly candles over here, how much more is this thing going to move? This thing moved all the way up here, all the way up to 157,700, I would say. Rejected, came all the way back down to 156, stayed at 156 a little bit. Looked like it was flipping bearish and going to break below 156. We actually had a level down here that we were marking off that if price broke 156, it's coming down there. But we ended up holding the support. And now the weekly on a Friday is about to close a bullish candle. So, and a nice strong one too, right? Came all the way up here, rejected, and now it's starting to come back to actually form its way. But how much farther up is it gonna push, right? Are we gonna actually engulf this candle? Maybe, but who knows? I could very well see us consolidating over here and ended up closing like this, right? So again, smaller time frames. Looks like we're rejecting over here in the 30-minute. There you go. So you just, guys, keep in mind, whenever you see candles like this, where price is holding this support and we're starting to break above resistances, but guess what? These two candles that I just pointed out don't have two top wicks on the 30-minute. But what they do have is long bottom wicks. So what you'll see is maybe this candle will end up breaking above and forming that high up there, but eventually it'll end up rejecting and then filling these wicks right down here, right? That's not to say it's going to completely reverse. What I'm saying is it could come down into this zone again, consolidate, break, and continue right back up eventually next week. Like I said, I think the weekly is a little bit exhausted as far as like, you know, creating that high, coming all the way back down, about to flip bearish, and then coming right back up gradually to where it's at right now, to creating this weekly candle. So I think based on that weekly candle, if we close like that, I think we're gonna have a great opportunity to take a nice swing trade next week and all grab, you know, couple hundred pips with that. But a low risk entry, if you want, what you could do is, if you're testing this out, 0.01 or 0.02. I strongly believe that people shouldn't be trading anything less than 0.02 because you can't manage the risk and you can't practice that. So you always want to trade with 0.02 so you can at least close 50 or secure profits once you reach a certain point. So do like a 0.02, test it out, or just don't even place any money on it and just live back test it. Like you go up to the weekly and you're like, okay, we're going to print like this. I've seen this before on the lower time frames. I've seen this candle right here form on the 30-minute and the 1 hour where it closes bearish, but barely a bottom wick, but a big top wick up there in a bullish trend. All the time this thing gets filled. Right now we're printing like this on the weekly. Who's to say we're not going to get a bullish candle right over here? Bad drawing. Something like that. So if you see the weekly next week forming this bottom wick and then it ends up flipping bullish right over here, right? Forms that bottom wick, then starts flipping bullish. You don't have to put your stop loss down here. You could put it down here, anticipating price to continue up, anticipating this candle, especially if they're getting closer and closer to increasing interest rates. That'll give you confidence behind the move. That'll let you risk a little bit more if you want. But again, if you haven't done this before, if you haven't seen this before, maybe just live back test it and journal it. Or what you could do is go back in time and back test this to see how many times this happens. When was the last time we increased interest rates, right? We talked about it yesterday, right over here. See this candle right over here? We actually did end up ranging in this area, which is what we talked about yesterday, but we have a very similar candle. Right? This candle right here. That's what you want to pay attention to. Price ended up tapping this area, 160, rejecting, closing bearish, barely a bottom wick. This candle ended up coming down into the area and closing bullish. Didn't leave a wick like it left last time. So maybe that's why we struggled over here. But we ended up increasing interest rates in November, right? November. And just skyrocketing up. So this could be a big play for us next week. That's what you want to plan out. You want to study this, see how many times it's happened in the past. Give me similar market conditions and let me look at what the candles did at that point, and let's roll. It's that simple. Is it easy? No, it's simple. So that's where we're at right now. Looks like we're rejecting over here. Yep. That's why we stay patient. I could see us maybe consolidating right in here. So how you guys doing? What are you guys thinking? Where do you like Stipe? Where do you think GJ is going to be going?
Probably up, but need to see how the probably few next daily candles.
Yeah, exactly. We could very well end up continuing to consolidate in here. We could end up staying in here for a while, right? We created this high at 158. We could end up just consolidating over here for a few weeks. And then maybe they increase interest rates in the end of November. And we're just kind of like playing in this range, which you very well could do because it's a big enough range, but it starts to get a little bit messy. But I think, you know, once we start really forming a good formation over here on GJ, as far as bullish confidence, then I think it's gonna be a nice move. Carlos, how about yourself?
Yeah, I was looking at GJ. It would be nice if it closes above 156,900.
Where we're at right now? Yeah,
like above that area.
that'll be the only way I take that trade. We get a nice clean close above this area, but I don't think we're gonna get that till maybe later, if we even get it.
Yeah, other than that, it's pretty rangy.
Exactly. And I'm not taking sells unless we break 156,400 right down here, break market structure. Because we've been putting higher lows, higher highs, consolidating, but higher highs, right? This high is higher than this one. This one's higher than this one. But this is our market structure right here. 400. So I'm not taking any kind of sells unless we break this level. We got some kind of a clean move right here. You could take this right back down to 156, but don't think we're going to get that today. So gold, I mean, gold on by the day makes me just not want to even like break it down, because I really just don't want you guys like involved in trying to trade in here. It's a weekly and a monthly range, right? Prices going back and forth on the weekly, on the daily. It's a mess. And even like if it was ranging in here, like I could see if it was ranging in here, but it was market structure like this. Like right here. Right? So this is clean market structure at least. This is clean market structure at least. This, like trying to be a part of this, is a pain in the ass because you get all these wicks. Being a part of this is a pain in the ass. right? Because you got all these big wicks, small bodies, prices like playing around in here, kind of ranging for a long time. It's just it's almost just not even worth it. We are above the 200 EMA right now. Not that that really means anything because we were right over here and we just dropped below it. But it looks like we ended up retesting this previous high up here that we created. Let me zoom in. We created this high up here, right? And now we ended up rejecting weak bullish candle. This candle passed the low of that candle. So we're just going to stay in this range. The one interesting thing, though, is price has been repeating itself in this channel for the entire time that it's been in here. So if you look at the 4 hour, every time it creates these highs up here, let's see. Every time it creates a new high, it ends up just rejecting hard and then consolidating in here. And then creating a new high to retest it. We create this high up here, end up just tanking, right? And coming right back down to this area. Kind of consolidating and then coming right back up to retest that area right over here. So same thing over here. Holding support. Could we be continuing right back up to retest this level? We definitely did right here with that wick. But again, we're just like sitting in the middle of this. Like I don't see any desire in trying to trade in something like this. Right? It's just really not worth it. You guys have other pairs. You guys have GJ where it's moving a little bit nicer. I mean, currently in the last 2 days, no. Because it's been stuck between 156 and 157. But it's been a lot nicer than something like this. So gold over here, all you could do is just go most recent support and resistance. Yeah, it's just like it's so hard to even break down. Like, look at these wicks coming down into this area over here. I like this little rejection. I know Chris got a nice move right over here yesterday with this candle rejecting for the third time and flipping bullish. He grabbed this candle. Chris is starting to know gold pretty well over here. But this is just, to me, it's just not worth trading. Not worth trading. But we are kind of huddled above this 200 EMA over here. That's gold. I wouldn't take it till we break 1807, 1808. Right up here. Let's go back to GJ. I know we're rejecting again. Or still. So we may not get something today, but we have a nice plan for next week. Moving into next week. Sounds good, Carlos. Beautiful plan for next week. Let's whip out the group Trello over here. Let's see what we got over here. Tiffany, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Just missed the whole breakdown. It's all good. I'll do a brief one on GJ over here. GJ, obviously printing higher highs, higher lows over here, retesting the previous resistance over here, now holding a support, right? We're still stuck in this range between 158, 200 and 156, but I wanted to just give you a good play for next week. This is just something that I'm looking at, and we've had multiple times already where just get rid of this stuff and I'll just draw like this. Obviously 156 is this it's a better one. 156 is a significant level over here, right? Our next target is probably on the higher time frames, it's probably going to be 158 and then 160. But looking over here, you have strong momentum pushing up. You have fundamentals behind it as far as increasing interest rates next month. That's the mother lode of all fundamentals. So that's going to really move the pound over here. So the other thing that I always look at, and this is something that you could record or write down, take note of, is this candle right here on the 30-minute, the 1 hour. Whenever you get a candle like that, when price is in momentum, a bearish candle with a huge top wick, barely a bottom wick over here, and it's a strong candle, the next candle ends up holding support right over here and closing a strong bullish candle with a wick to fill. Typically, what you'll get is the next candle comes down, creates its bottom wick, and then skyrockets and fills these wicks. Maybe not a ton of volume in there, but we're holding a decent support right here, and we have wicks to fill. Most of the time, this wick gets filled. And I was just pointing out to them before that last time we were in this same market environment, right? Right over here, when we were in this market recovery, right over here from 2008, this is 2013, we ended up printing the same exact candle right here. And then right after that, holding support, we just didn't have a wick to fill so easily. So that's, I think, why we started to consolidate a little bit. And then, you know, that was all through October. October went the same way. And then November, we just took off. So this might be a good play for you next week, for you to either lie back test or risk a very low amount. And you can either put your stop loss below this bullish candle right over here, or you wait for that next weekly candle to create its bottom wick. And once it flips bullish, you could put your stop loss below it. Or what you could do is plan to turn a scalp into a swing where, you know, it's a scalp inside this range. You know that on the 1 hour, we're holding a strong support. The 4 hour, we're holding a strong support, and we're going to end up, you know, continuing bullish. Then you could have an even tighter stop loss. But what you could do is also take that trade with that stop loss and then place a very low risk trade at the same exact time with a wider stop loss, so that, you know, you grab the scalp and then you can also grab, you know, the full move, even if that scalp doesn't work out. That makes sense?
Yes, it does.
Awesome.
Thank you. I'm just marking up my chart now to follow.
Perfect. Yeah, let me know what you're thinking. But this morning we came to the charts, price was ranging in here, but then what we had was we had a strong bullish candle, looked like it was closing above these candles right over here, these candle bodies, but we had these wicks over here. So you got to drop down to the lower time frames. And what we had was, again, if you take a look, before any of this happened, it looked like we were closing above resistance and that this was our resistance, right? But the only thing you want to look at is, first of all, you have all these wicks. So you have the 15-minute that you need to look at first. But at the same time, if you're just studying candles and wicks, and that's really what we do, is you got a nice strong bullish candle right over here. We're holding support down here. You got the nice strong bullish candle, but this candle ends up closing with no top wick, right? But it's got a long bottom wick. This candle ends up printing with a long bottom wick, barely a top wick, but it looks like it's above resistance, right? So normally what I see is I'll see the next candle end up pushing all the way up here, right? And like pushing past that right away. Actually, we'll do this. The next candle pushes past that candle right away and starts pushing up. And then guess what? We end up rejecting and then filling these wicks down here. and continuing right back down into this range and rejecting. Now, again, if you take a look at the 15-minute now you have this resistance right over here, and you have a psychological level 156,900, which you have to be aware of. So are we holding support over here and continuing up? Yeah. Was the 30-minute, continuing up, flipping bullish? We got some momentum to come right back up into this area. Yeah. But you're studying the candles and wicks and understanding that when you see this, you see these long bottom wicks, we could push up, or we could push up just a little bit and then end up filling these wicks. And guess what happened? We ended up pushing up, rejecting 156,900 once again, right? And then flipping bearish and staying right back into this range. So that's why you stay patient and you study candles and wicks and understand like what they do. Now, it just takes time, especially when you're studying one pair and really trying to figure that one pair out. You're going to start to pick up on these little nuances of the pair. And you're going to be able to carry your knowledge into the next day and the next week, the next month, once you see that setup again. So just remember, when price looks like we're pushing up, first of all, it's the end of the week. So, how much more is the weekly going to push up? Also, when you see these bottom wicks over here, just know that a lot of times we end up rejecting a certain level up here and then filling that level. Also, just to give you some idea, the weekly again, this weekly candle ended up opening, pushing all the way up here to 157,700, and then flipping bearish, and not flipping bearish because we did open up here, but this weekly candle ended up pushing all the way up here to form that top wick, and then almost flipped bearish when it came right back down to 156 over here to retest it. We ended up holding support over here, and now we're pushing up at the end of the month and at the end of the week. So that tells me that, there's been a lot of volume in this candle, but at the same time, how much more is it going to move up? It's Friday. All right, so you just want to stay patient, especially on a Friday, especially if you had a great week. There's no need for you to rush into any kind of a trade, especially in this kind of price action before the week is end. Like with me, I'm perfectly content with my week being over already. I'll watch the charts and do all that stuff, but I'm probably not going to place a trade unless we get that close above 156,900. Those are my conditions. And as I was saying to them, only way I'll sell, GJ, is if we break below 156,400 over here, break the market structure, because we've been in this bullish trend over here. If we break market structure over here and start to come right back down into here, you get kind of a clean move on the 15-minute right over here with this wick, right back down at 156. But other than that, I'm in buys. And that's not going to happen on a Friday. Unless we get some kind of fundamentals. Excuse me. Yeah, unless we get some kind of a shock fundamental coming out, which I doubt. Today we have PCE coming out. Money supply, everything came out basically the same as what they were expecting. M4 money supply and mortgage approvals. Yeah, Chris coming in. Good stuff. We also have University of Michigan consumer sentiment and University of Michigan inflation expectations. So I always look at this. Consumer sentiment is huge. Is what's the public saying? What's the public feeling about the future numbers of this country, the future state of this country? And I don't know how it could possibly be good. It's I'm not in a good spot right now. Chris, what's up, bro?
What's up? Good morning.
Good morning, buddy.
So
What's
with
your
that does that mean gold is going to the moon?
Yeah. I mean, with inflation, it should be. But honestly, man, I'll admit that I've been kind of a dinosaur as far as like gold and crypto and stuff like that. And I'm starting to believe more and more that crypto might be that hedge against inflation. I mean, we really don't know, right? There's no history to go by. That's why it's so hard to kind of admit that. But gold has always been that tangible asset that you can buy and it's valuable. You can sell jewelry with it. You can hold on to it. It's a brick of gold, right? That's why people hold on to it. You could store value into that brick of gold. But right now, in today's day and age, is a crypto asset more valuable than gold would be?
I think it will be because the information people are not informed
Mm-hmm.
as much in crypto, how to use it, how you can benefit from it. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it will be eventually.
I
This one
think,
will be.
yeah, I think today's market conditions and what's going on, along with converging with the technology, kind of like what we talk about, like where technicals meet up with fundamentals. It's the same exact thing where like technology right now is meeting up with the times of inflation, like hyperinflation, and what's going on right now in the States and in the world. And these, even though these coins aren't a tangible asset that you can hold on to, they still have value and they still have benefits to them, right? Like Ethereum is the fastest coin that you could transfer money from hand to hand to, right? Some of these coins have specific functions that they do, and there's value to that. Can you buy and hold on to a piece of Bitcoin? No, it's all online. But what you can do is buy a nano ledger, which I just got yesterday. Highly recommend, guys. As I was saying yesterday, when you're getting into the financial markets, it's hard enough, and you're trying to learn one thing, trying to understand one thing in the financial markets. That's hard enough, right? But when it comes to like trying to dive into crypto or any other space, you want to make sure you're just about master what you're already doing. So that's where I'm at right now when it comes to crypto, and what I've listened to and what I've heard from many professionals. I've talked to Jaden, I've talked to, or not talked to, but I've listened to a lot of people on YouTube or people that have a good track record with it. Basically, Tori's pretty big with it. He's got some good knowledge, but what was I going to say? The number one thing a lot of them say is that security is number one, because this is a decentralized market. This is something that, if you send money to somebody and it doesn't actually get to them, and if you don't put the exact same wallet number in there that you want to send to, there's no 1-800 number that you're going to call. That money's gone. That's why like there's benefits and not so much benefits when it comes to doing to transferring money with crypto. But again, there's no middleman. You send Bitcoin to somebody, nobody's taking their piece of it. But this thing, when it comes to security, because you could have a wallet number or you can lose it, or somebody can hack it. I'm sure it's very easy. You saw what just happened to Nathan in the chat. Nathan lost 15 grand the other day because somebody hacked his Coinbase or crypto.com account. So it's very sticky. And plus, if you buy a coin on Robinhood, right, you don't truly own that coin. You're not holding on to that coin. That's still in Robinhood. But if you own one of these nano ledgers, Ledger Nano, whatever you want to call it, you actually own the coin. It's like owning a coin on a flash drive, and you're safe and secure. So this is a business investment. This is something that you can write off as a tax write-off, right? So highly recommend getting one of these. You could track it on your computer or over here, a nice little database. You buy coins with it, everything.
That's good to know.
Yeah, man. You know what? Actually, I was watching. Let me add this into the chat. If you guys really want to start learning about crypto, I listened to this whole thing yesterday on the drive. This podcast I follow. These guys are good. I followed their Instagram, and then they announced that they were doing this podcast, and I just went and listened to it. Second guy. All right, guys. So if you take a look, crypto channel, right over here, these guys. This second guy, like I wrote right here, this second guy was so insightful. Especially when it comes to security, right? But these guys, I follow EYL University. It's pretty cool what they do. They have a good Instagram, but I was listening to this. They made the announcement that they were doing this. I think once a month they were announcing. I've never listened to these before, but once a month they have guests in here to basically talk about specific avenues, maybe stocks, crypto, Forex, whatever the case may be, and real estate. I know they're big into real estate, but the second guy that they had on, the first guy honestly really didn't. I felt like didn't truly know what he was talking about, but the second guy came on, really just was very clear, very insightful, very knowledgeable about crypto. Seemed like he knew what he was talking about. He's been trading it since 2017. So I like listening to him a lot. But I think if you listen to this, you'll see what I mean. But the guy's hosting the channel, very well spoken, good at what they do. Now I want to take a look at GJ over here. It's 722. Is the 30-minute going to close above 156,900? That's what we're looking for. And those were my conditions on the trade as well. So 156,900 right up to 157, almost 100 right up here. I think we could grab this move. But we need this close above this level. Sound good? Let's see if we get it. So Stipe, right after the live, we'll hop on. I'm gonna make breakfast real quick, and then we can hop on, and then Tiffany right after that. Take a look at some of those trades.
We can. I'm good with that.
Cool.
I'll be ready.
Cool. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of the trades that the guys have put in here so far for this week. Nathan, we'll take a look at Nathan's. We already broke mine down. Some good detail in here. Gold broke a major level. Okay, I'm just gonna first look at the chart. See, I don't think he took 15-minute, 30-minute. Okay, that's not bad. So this is the dollar holding support 1798 over here, 1800, right? Breaking above 1800 and 1800, 100 right over here, holding support, breaking above, stop loss below this 30-minute candle. I think he took this based on the 30-minute, 15-minute, holding a strong support, clean move to the left, right? Candle breaking above that candle right over there. Stop loss a little tight, but that's okay. And then I think he took this on the 5-minute. Okay, so he placed his stop loss below the 5-minute support. Not truly below this wick right over here, but he figured if price ever came into this area over here, the trade would be invalid anyway. So we end up passing the high. This is an impulse entry. So I guess when we came back down to this area right over here, he took the 5-minute for granted, basically. And didn't do too much when it came to coming back to his entry. So that's fine. I mean, that's what was that, like 4 pips, I guess, right over here on the 5 minute. So he's not gonna close half once it comes back to entry unless it reaches like 8, 9, 10 pips, especially on gold. Or on gold, I would say if it reaches like 15, 20 pips and then comes back to your entry, I would close 50. Looks like GJ's moving up if you guys are watching that. But when it comes to gold, if it moves up like 8 to 10 pips on gold and it comes back to your entry, especially on the 5 minute, just watch it, but maybe you don't have to secure just yet. Right? You don't have to micromanage that trade. So he ended up securing 10 stop loss, move to break even. And TP was actually hit. Beautiful. He was able to stomach this. I mean, this is the 5 minutes, so he's probably not really watching it too much. But only thing I would say for him, and you know, I'm saying this for you guys so that you guys know this for your own thing, is make sure that you have more screenshots in here. Like, don't you want to know what the 4 hour looks like, the daily looks like, the weekly looks like at the time that you take this trade? So just, you know, make sure that you're taking screenshots as much as you can over here. Let's go back to GJ over here. We're breaking above. We got 4 minutes left for the 30 minute to close. So be patient right now. Don't get FOMO. If this skyrockets, okay, you missed it. It's Friday. We've all had a pretty solid week anyway. But when it comes to this moving up, don't get too excited because this wick did the same thing. This wick did the same thing. But the fact that the second half of the 30-minute candle first half came down, grabbed liquidity, now flipping bullish and going to close a strong bullish candle. The next time, you know, what we're going to look for is that break and retest right over here of 900 to then take this thing up about 18 pips. Just be a little patient. So do you guys all like Nathan's trade over here? Journal, risk manage, successful runner. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I understood it.
Beautiful. Nathan. Okay, so his title's a little bit different than mine, but that's okay. Stipe, why do I feel like you're in GJ right now?
Well, you're wrong.
I'm wrong? Nice. Okay.
I'm in gold.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I made an entry when the last 30 minutes flipped.
Okay, let's take a look. You're in this right now?
When the last
You're
30
the
minutes
sale?
flipped.
Where you taking with
17.
your TP?
What?
What's your TP?
Around 70, 93.
Okay.
I see.
Right over here. Retest
Full
this level.
TP 70, 92.5, but I'll close it earlier if it starts rejected.
Just know the 30-minute is about to close, but I do like this only because we had this resistance right over here. We get the fake out, price bounces off the 20 EMA or 200 EMA. Then we get this weak bullet bearish candle closing as well. And then this candle never breaks the high of that candle and then breaks the low with a clean move to the left coming right back down to 1793. So that might actually play out.
Yeah, I just hit my auto break even, so
Beautiful.
I mean, if it retraces from these 15 pips in profit, then it's okay.
There you go.
There should be no room for drawdown.
Exactly. I just want to journal this if we actually end up getting it.
I made an entry because of the daily, so we'll see how it goes.
There you go. $56.05. Okay. I'll reset my MetaTrader. So what I'm looking for over here, we got the clean close above, right? Now I'm looking for this retest right here, the bottom wick to be formed for us to take this up to 157.050. Come on now. Dude, why is this? Shoot, anybody entering GJ right now? MetaTraders, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I just entered a small position.
Okay, cool. As we
Oh,
pass
great.
over there.
30 minutes. Nice.
There we go. There we go. Now it's working.
I like these partials that are available on Magic Keys.
The partials?
Yeah. Partial TP.
Did you just get magic keys?
No, I get it a few months ago. The
Oh, nice.
virtual one. I don't
That's
have
why
the
you've been
physical.
taking so many trades.
Yeah.
It's very easy to take a lot with magic keys. Tiffany, do you have magic keys?
My bad. It's so hard to take myself off of mute. Yeah, I do have it, but believe it or not, I had it for about like 3 months. I have no idea how to use it.
Okay. All right, well, I could probably help you out on our Zoom.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think I honestly entered this a little prematurely. Let's see what we're getting on the lower time frames. See how price is reacting. Well, I actually have my stop loss a little bit wider. Kind of like in the middle of this range over here in case we do get that retest. But I was planning on this thing just kind of rocketing up. See what we get.
Those half.
We need to get our. Yeah, we gotta get our sound effects back when we win or lose a trade. Bring these back a little bit.
Oh yeah.
What else we got on here? Got some good ones. Remember the wasted from Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
You guys lose a trade.
All right, there we go, GJ.
There we go. We like. See, we have some volume in these candles right over here. The price is just like kind of ranging a little bit, then pushes up. Ranges a little bit, pushes up. That's what you want. I think Sharma was actually explaining this to you guys the other day, where like if price is just kind of like playing around for a little bit, then it's an indecision candle. See if we continue to push up. I think I'll probably secure around 157.052, 071, which
And
is
then I
basic,
think food. So
which is basically this resistance right up here.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like
Beautiful.
078.
And all right, I just closed the full thing. It's a little scalp. What I get over here? 7 pips. Beautiful. So let's see. So you guys like you have to be able to control the greed, especially on a Friday. But also at the same time, don't prematurely do anything. I mean, this very well could have been a premature close, but at the same time, I'm comfortable with what I just got out of the market, monetarily and pip wise. And you know, this was kind of a risky entry just because the risk to reward was obviously even, but at the same time, I was only looking for price to come up to this area. And you know, sometimes that's going to happen, especially the more experience that you get. Like I've seen Ted only look for like 5 to 7 pips on a trade with like a 20 pip stop loss. Now this is frowned upon, and you probably shouldn't do this right now. I shouldn't even be talking about it, but you know, as a scalper, you're only looking at these quick jabs at the market. That's it, in and out, boom, boom, done. You know, if you take 10 trades, only 2 or 3 of them, maybe 3, are going to turn into swing trades. So just know when to close the full thing and also know when to secure it and let a runner run. End of the week, I'm not interested in letting a runner run, you know, over the weekend or anything like that. I'm just trying to get my pips and get out.
gold kind of dropped really aggressive.
What did?
It dropped down aggressively.
Gold did?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Point. Yeah, but I got out because if you switch to 1 minute, you'll see a huge pullback and 10 pips, and I kind of got out with the full position just before it happened.
Right here?
No, the last one on 1 minute at the bottom.
Oh, right over here?
Yeah, there. Yeah.
Oh,
I kinda-
but like you grabbed it down to here and you secured down
Yeah,
here?
I got out at 70.92.85, 90.
Beautiful. That
Yeah.
that comes right back to what I was just saying with being content with
Yeah.
that move. You know, like I did like the setup over here on the 1 hour. If you're gonna be trading in this, like that was the trade, not the 30-minute. This is the trade to take. A little fake out. Price closes, kind of retest that area, never breaks the high of the previous candles, past the low of that candle. So Tiffany, as we were going over on the phone yesterday, it's the same exact process, I guess you could say, as everybody goes in here. So like it'll take you guys like a week, right? To be on these live streams and understand like the way I trade, unless like you're coming over from, you know, watching Raquel trade on a regular basis. It's kind of similar. I just implement more fundamentals, I guess you could say, and just trade my own way. Everyone trades differently, but I get a lot from what he's done because that was my mentor. But it just takes a week or two to really catch on to some of the things that we're doing over here.
I was afraid of this, what's currently happening on 50 and 30 minutes. It had no upper wick, and now it retraced all the way back. So we have a potentially longs now on gold.
For gold?
Yeah. But I'm out. I'm done for the day.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm up.
Done for the
I'm up, I
week.
think. Yeah, done for the week. I'm up 10% today or so.
Oh man, that's that mentality that we talk about. It's just being content. It's Friday. You know, we got plenty of opportunity next week to make some money and grab some pips. Carlos, how you doing on GJ? I know you were in this too.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I secured 80% for sure.
Beautiful. Cool.
I'm just waiting to see what this candle gonna do, and if I don't like what it's doing, I'm gonna just close the full thing.
What you could do is actually move your stop loss below this current candle. I don't know where your stop loss is now, actually.
My original stop loss was 156.820, but I moved it up to break even.
Okay. Do a little boomerang of you guys.
Oh, Carlos, I forgot to mention when you were asking about your username on Instagram, where you the low-key guy on the Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen that you said that in translation and creation, it means what it was. I forgot. Damn.
I had wrote I had changed my name
Yeah.
to Loki, but in Croatian.
Yeah.
I googled it, so I hope it's correct.
It's kind of similar, but it's Niski Ključ. Ključ is like key.
Yeah.
It's key, and Niski is like, I don't know how to translate it directly. Maybe when you say to a person, it might seem rude, but short, low, but in terms of height. That's the
Okay.
definition of Niski. It's not kind of directly translated. It's hard to translate it directly, but let's say you got the point with that.
Yeah, man. I wanted to be a little different.
Yeah. Nice. I was like, wait, what? And then when I saw your username, mate, I haven't even had you. I'm gonna do it now. The low key guy. What's your username?
Well, I temporarily disabled my my Instagram for now just to focus. But right now I got a low key podcast that I'll be using on Instagram. If you want to take a look at it.
Yeah. What's the username?
I'm gonna write it right here on the chat.
Sure. We have Stefanos active on Instagram. I just got mentioned.
Yes, sir. Now, Carlos, which one would you rather be tagged on?
Yeah, for now, I could use the low key podcast for
All right,
now.
cool. That's what I ended up tagging you with. Did you guys all get that?
Yeah, I got it.
Cool. For some reason on my end, it only shows that Tiffany was tagged. Dude, what is this going on with Facebook changing their
Yeah, the main company. It's like
the company?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's kind of, if I got it right, like the Google, they created their, how they call it, parent company, Alphabet. So this will be kind of the same thing for Facebook. It's
Okay.
kind of outdated name. People got used to it, so I guess they need some change.
Yeah,
I've seen, yeah,
I
sorry.
don't know about the move. You know,
Well, they're everywhere anyway, so
yeah.
they have full control, no privacy anymore.
Yeah.
We have no privacy, and that's it.
100%.
Whether it's Zach or anyone else, it's the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought he stepped down. Didn't he step down a couple months ago?
I don't know. I actually don't follow those news.
Yeah.
If I was in stocks, maybe I would, but no.
Yeah.
I just see that gold is going up in 15 minutes. And it's nice.
Yeah, I'm looking at this setup right over here and how we rejected 900 over here on the 15-minute. And we ended up getting this move that we called over here. Now, we ended up holding support right here. Remember when I drew this? Ended up holding with this
Yeah.
candle right over here. What if, just to journal, what if we entered this?
I would enter that.
You would?
Yeah, because we tested the highs, we rejected,
Exactly.
and that huge rejection 15 minute is really nice candle, especially that the wick is in confluence with that rejection, or better said, support on the left, few hands on the left that you just mentioned. Yeah.
100%.
And
Yeah.
how many pips is that?
24. Get a nice
Yeah.
liquidity wick right over here. Grabs
Yeah.
liquidity, grabs it at a better price, just
Yeah.
pushes it up. This candle creates its bottom wick, passes the high of that candle right there. Take this thing out.
Yeah.
With the volume, right?
Of course.
7:15, 7:30. Okay. Normally on GJ, this is the time that you get the volume on GJ right now. 7:40, anywhere from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, but really 7:45 to 8 is where you get some solid volume. I've seen a lot of pushes. Not honestly, not as of late, to be honest with you. A lot of the moves come around 9:30 or 10.
Note taken.
What's up, Tiff?
I said note taken.
There you go. I'm telling you guys, if you like, one of the reasons I got where I was in a shorter amount of time was I would go back. Well, first of all, I'd be on the lives every single day with Raquel, Ted, listening to them, taking notes. I have a note tab on my iPad of almost everything they said for a straight year. Anything significant that they'd said on my iPad of like just taking notes of that stuff. And then I would go back after that and watch a film session and watch that repeatedly later in the day, later in the afternoon of like how that session went. And I would take even more notes. Right. So these little nuggets that some of us drop, not only me, but some of you guys like Chris. Chris knows gold now pretty well. Stipe knows gold pretty well. Right. So, some of the things that they're saying, you could take that and write that down. Like, okay, like especially little nuggets like that, as far as like volume pushes, stuff like that. Doesn't take a genius to know stuff like that. It's just like from back testing, right? Just really just understanding your pair. And that's what I always say to you guys, be the go-to person for your pair. Like, just for an example, some of the stuff that I was saying this morning with Stipe was the first one on. So Stipe, we were breaking this down and I was talking to you about these candles over here. And then I was talking about these wicks. What do we say?
Yeah.
A lot of times that gets filled. We end up rejecting. We end up pushing up here and then rejecting. So little things like that, when people know that about their pair, not just me, it could be any of you guys. That's why we have a trading group. It's a family. And we're working constantly. It's in my best interest to get you guys as good as you possibly can, to be absolute beasts in the market, because you add to the table and you help other people as well. That's the kind of environment that we want. So these little nuggets that people are dropping, just pay attention to them. You want to be so meticulous with your notes and treat this thing like a business. You want to be absolutely dominant every single day, getting better every single day. 1% better. You don't have to take huge leaps every single day. Just 1% better, like Chris was talking about this morning in the fitness channel. Chris, you watched them Knicks last night? There you go. Honestly, I wasn't too happy with them last night. They were up 13 with like 3 minutes to go, and it almost went into overtime. Chicago got a little momentum. I gotta say, Chicago had probably the best free agency, best off season this year. Let's see. It's Friday. What did we used to do in school when it was Friday? Sometimes watch movies, stuff like that.
Yeah, watch movies.
So let me see if we got like a good YouTube video of something that's gonna give you guys some drive through the weekend. Guys, I always encourage spending time with family, using the weekend. Like you should be working so hard throughout the week. Like I haven't even been able to get into the gym this week. I've been all over the place. And you should be working so hard throughout the week that like the weekend is just like, okay, finally. Like you got to be going 100 miles an hour throughout the week of like just not wasting time, letting like crossing off different things on your checklist and also on your daily must list, just banging them out every single day. Like you should be, if you're doing that and if you're moving at that pace, if you have a sizable daily must list, you should be able to get through that by 1 or 2 o'clock p.m. Right, and then move on to your to-do list for the day. But the weekend should be spent for getting ready for the next week, preparing yourself. Right, money is in preparation. Success is all in preparation. The more you prepare, the more successful you're going to be. But the weekend, like I said, spend some time with family a little bit. You should have that feeling on a Friday of like, oh, okay, cool. Not as much like I'm looking forward to the weekend. Like I look forward to Mondays. I can't wait for Mondays so that we could trade. We could jump on the lives together and do all that stuff. But at the same time, like you should have that feeling of like relief, like, okay, I put as much as I could into this past week. If you guys take a look behind me, there's weeks in my life chart. And do you guys know what that is? I mean, I used to break that down on my old Instagram, but Carlos, you know what that is?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Cool. Stipe, Tiffany, do you know what that is? Chris?
No, what is that?
Okay, so it's a little morbid, but it says weeks of my life at the top, and you give them your birthday, and they automatically fill in the boxes for you for what your birthday is, and it goes up to the age of 100, and you check these boxes off every single day. Every single day. To be honest with you, this chart scared the shit out of me because I'm a big, I don't know, I think a lot about time. Right? Time is huge. Time is something that's very scarce. We can't buy it back other than like hiring employees to do tasks that maybe we would be spending our time on. Maybe we don't need that anymore. So we can hire somebody else to buy that time back. That's why, like, when people say 24 hours in a day, you have much more than that if you hire employees. Right? So, but with this, it scared the shit out of me at the beginning, and then I was like, you know what? If I get that, that would actually drive the shit out of me because I'm paying attention to my time. I'm paying attention to the week, and like I said, you should always have those weekly deadlines that you need to hit for yourself. Make sure that you get the 7 hours of back testing. Make sure that you hit the gym whenever you need every single day, or 3 days a week, 4 days a week, whatever fits your schedule. What's another one? Doing a full week review, right? 5% this week, stuff like that. Hitting the weekly goals, hitting weekly deadlines. But this every single week at the end of the week, I check off a box. I fill a box in, and that's a week of my life gone. Finito.
Where would I get that from?
Weeksofmylife.com.
Okay.
Let me get it.
Is that a drop shipper or seems like?
Poster. Here we go. Yeah, they let's see. Here we go. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Weeks of my life. Yep, this is them. Pre-filled, black, whatever you want. You put your birthday in. Buy one poster, get a second one free. I'm not gonna have 2 lives unless you want to give it to someone else. But let me put this into the chat. I'll put this in a Slack too.
It's getting interesting on gold.
I'm about to take a look. DJ looks healthy. Oh. Oh, never mind. It's a good secure. I would have been stopped at break even. might have an opportunity during like the stock exchange open if we end up holding support over here to fill that wick. But don't get too greedy. It's Friday. I grabbed my move. I'm happy with it. I'm not gonna rush anything. Okay, so we did weeks of my life. Oh, that's right, gold. Sorry, Stipe.
No, it's fine. I was kind of wondering. I made a paper trade since I said I won't take any other trade based on 5 minutes, and it would be a 15 pip, nice one.
So you made a paper trade.
Yeah.
Wow, look at this.
If you switch to 5 minutes, you'll see how nicely did the job.
Okay, 1 sec. Let me just adjust this because I think I switched the chart.
It's dropping pretty nice. 25 pips today.
Yep. We have
Just double click the right numbers, the right scale.
What was that?
If you click the scale on the right, double click. Yeah, it's always gonna center the chart for you.
Wow.
So if you're anywhere, just double click the right scale and you're gonna be centered. Yeah.
Not working.
For me, it is.
Oh, it just like scales it perfectly for you. It doesn't bring you back to current price action. But that's cool though. That's awesome. Nice little.
Yeah, and you have the button on lower right corner, which brings you to the right.
The what?
If you're somewhere on the left looking in the history, in the charts, you have the button in this part here. You see, here will be a button which you can press to go back.
Why I always do this? You talking about this?
Oh,
Like if I'm over here and I want to reset the chart, it'll bring me right back.
yeah, but also you have a button. You have the button in the lower right. That's the same, I guess. I never use the reset chart. So
which button? Oh, you were pointing over here.
yeah. It's gonna appear there if you're somewhere on the left. But
oh,
okay.
Oh, this okay. Good point. I like it.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
I guess that's the shortcut for reset chart or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Instead of having to press my right finger and having to go over here. God forbid. Some people are lazy like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think price could be retesting this area. Just keep in mind this let's see this trend over here. And again, trend lines take them, for what they are. They're very subjective.
What did you say? Whoa.
Yeah, let's move. I'm breaking. Hold on. What's going on with GJ over here?
This is the point to go out of my trade half an hour early. This would be a nice 55 pips if I stayed in. Yeah. Even more.
This would be nice right over here.
Yeah.
What could add confluence for you?
Awesome trade.
Oh, sorry, you were just breaking up. What could be? Where'd you enter this? What price?
Just let me check.
Breaking up.
70.95.6.
70.95.
70.95 point up there. Yeah, somewhere in the middle of that range.
Okay, cool. So once price got below this 200 EMA, we were holding support over here since 5 o'clock this morning. Right, we ended up ranging over here. Then we broke and retested. So
Yeah.
you were already in the trade at this point, and then we broke all the way down here. Excuse me, broke all the way down here. You ended up closing the full thing. What you could have done was secured down here, knowing that we're below this EMA over here still. But again, it's Friday. I like the fact that you weren't getting greedy or anything. You just kind of took your profits and that was it. Just continue to journal this and continue to back test it so that you can, learn that for the future. You want to be able to get like thousands of hours of 1 minute, because you trade a lot on the 1 minute and it's successful for you so far. So thousands of hours of analysis on the 1 minute and just watching the 1 minute play back and forth all the time. Let's see if we could get.
I was thinking about.
No, go ahead.
I annotated. I was thinking about entering there on where I placed this arrow, but then it was a few minutes before 1 hour closing, I guess. And what time was it? Can you place the cursor already?
7:58.
Yeah, it was just before the close.
Okay.
Yeah, I was waiting for the close, but looking on 15 minutes. Can you switch?
Yeah, I was just gonna point this out real quick.
Yeah.
Take it as it breaks the low, that bullish candle. Only thing is, this is 7:58. You're not gonna take a trade right before 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but when we're looking at 50 minutes, since we had that kind of big momentum to the downside, you see how just a second, how this candle here, this one, the bearish one, it kind of surpassed the bullish one on the left and it rejected. So that was kind of liquidity grab for further bearish movement. What I was kind of expecting, because that's what gold usually does when we have a candle like that bullish one with a very long wick on the downside without the top wick and the rejection on the bearish one like it created on the upper side, then we should have a wick fill, but stops should be just above that 15-minute candle, and that's it. If it goes down, it goes down. If it doesn't, then you maybe risked 4 or 5 pips, and everyone should be okay with that.
100%.
That's how I see it.
I personally like, you got some clean market structure or clean candles here to the left. You create this resistance right here, and you end up breaking the low of this candle with a 7:15 a.m. volume. You just take this thing all the way down. Carlos, are you still in GJ?
Oh, no. I had closed out.
Okay. Tiffany, did you take that or no?
Nope, I didn't. I'm just focusing on my analysis at the moment.
Cool. How's that coming?
It's progressing.
There you go. I want to know what you guys think about this. Like, forget this is that podcast that I talk about all the time, Patrick Bet David. Very good communicator. Great at what he talks about and does. But they're talking about taxing unrealized gains. And I don't know if you guys know what that means. I'm sure you guys do, but that means taxing you guys on either losses or gains on your trades, right? So like right now, when you withdraw, that's the only time you're getting taxed on these trades. We get taxed by the with the commission and stuff like that, but that's the company. That's fine. But we're not paying the government right now for any kind of losses or wins unless we end up withdrawing. And that's how it should be. Current administration is talking about taxing unrealized gains. So they're talking about it right here. I want to know what you guys think.
Janet Yellen, let me read that story on page 9. What she says she wants to do. Dems plan billionaires' unrealized gains tax to help fund the $2 trillion spending bill, a New York Post story. President Biden's $2 trillion spending package continues to stall as senior Democrats are hoping to finalize a proposal on a new annual tax on billionaires' unrealized capital gains. Let me read that one more time. Hoping to finalize a proposal on a new annual tax on billionaires' unrealized capital gains. Do you know what that means? They made money on an investment. They haven't taken the money out. The equities on that house, the equities in the company, the equities in the stock, they haven't taken the money out. Janet Yellen and Biden want to tax unrealized gains that hasn't been taken out by the individual, which is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, if somebody said this stuff 20 years ago, they would say you've lost your mind, but it's becoming a reality today. We probably will have a wealth tax, says Nancy Pelosi, confirmed Sunday. The proposal, which is being reviewed by Senate Finance Committee Chairman Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon, would impose an annual tax on unrealized capital gains on liquid assets held by billionaires. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the proposal will likely only affect less than 1,000 of the nation's wealthiest citizens. I don't care if it's 1,000, if it's 500, if it's 10,000. Leave them alone. They keep creating jobs. I don't care what their net worth is. Let them keep creating jobs and have an incentive to create jobs. Because if they don't do what they do, you're going to take a hit. And by the way, again, it goes back down to why 1,000? Why are they the richest of the richest? How about the person that's worth 40 million? How rich is 40 million to a person making 15 bucks an hour? Very rich. How rich is 10 million to someone that's making 50 bucks an hour? How rich is $1 million to a person that's making 50? How rich is $500,000 cash and savings to a person that's making 15 bucks an hour? Rich. So what's rich? Rich is only any taxes that you will not pay. So if Nancy Pelosi is worth $300 billion, let's make sure we pay the taxes $1 billion so I don't have to pay any of it. It's always, I don't want to experience the pain.
You covered this a couple podcasts.
Yeah, this was like a month ago.
It's always the person who's just a little bit richer than you, that's where you want to start.
Yeah.
And the problem is it's slippery slope. You know what this reminds me of? Because you'll appreciate this. I think there was a lot, because obviously you're in the life insurance world. There was talks about, because obviously a life insurance, the death benefit is tax free.
Oh, yes.
But at one point they were proposing taxing the cash value buildup within the policy. You remember this?
Of course I do.
But that didn't pass,
It was
right?
Rule 7702 that they wanted to eliminate to tax the cash value and the surrender value or the PUL or an IUL or all that
Correct.
stuff. Yeah.
And it didn't pass, though.
It didn't pass, yeah. And you know who was leading that? Elizabeth Warren.
Was that DOL? Was that all that? Was that okay?
But by the way, the camp that's in right now is the camp that could do that. No. That's the camp that's in right now.
Well, to our last friend, was it Josh? I don't know, whoever, he said, well, why don't we just let them have what they want?
Yeah.
Listen, that's the whole point of America, is to have the debate, to have the ideas and find out which ideas are actually right. You feel like Gerard likes to say that Democrats are
Get gold.
Republicans are the brakes. And there's two sides of the eagle, wherever you want to look at it.
Yeah,
But that's the
gold.
whole point of it. All right, this is the idea I want to go with. No, no, we're not doing the idea. And then at some point there needs to be a
I
compromise.
always get pissed in like situations like this.
On their side.
What's up, buddy?
I get pissed in situations like this one.
You gotta live with your decision, man.
Yeah,
Always. Never the market's fault.
I know.
So how do you guys feel about that? With forget politics. Put politics aside. I'm saying the actual policy. And I honestly can't really talk policy without talking politics. But do you see that being a benefit? Do you like that?
I thought it was actually horrible.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that.
I thought it was horrible. The first thing I was thinking to myself was, well, what a time for this to come, right? When you have vision or dream to actually make a couple of bucks, and now they're talking about this tax potentially, right?
Mm.
So I was thinking to myself, damn, bad luck.
Yeah.
And secondly, I was thinking, well, how many times are we going to be taxed? You know?
How many times what?
are we going to be taxed?
Exactly.
So we're taxed for earning it. We're taxed for withdrawing it, taxed for spending it.
Yep. How many times can the same dollar be taxed before it's shit? Basically.
There are always ways for getting more taxed. So
It blows my mind like that. All they want to do is just tax people. They don't want to cut the spending. They just think taxing people, no matter what tax bracket it is, they don't understand that some of these policies trickle into the middle and the lower class, even though they're trying to hurt the upper class. Okay, whatever. Don't like rich people, you want to tax them, but at the same time, your policies are affecting everybody. The supply chain issues, the inflation, it affects poor people way more than rich people.
I don't believe that they don't like the rich people, because that's just agenda, I think.
I think they don't like people that they can't control.
Yeah.
That they can't, when it's almost like when you're a parent and your kids start growing up and your kids depend on you for money for going to get food and all that stuff. And one day they misbehave, your kid says, or you say, you're not getting your money, right? You're not getting your whatever. That kid's gonna say, okay, I don't need it. I'm working now. That those parents lose some sort of control.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's where the government sits when it comes to rich people, where they lose some sense of control. The more money they have, the less dependent that you are on the government.
Well, you always can open a bank account in Switzerland. So
Yeah, there you go.
I haven't studied how it works, and I think that was the thing there. The Swiss government doesn't allow any, or they don't export personal data, or how does it work?
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously it's a safe haven currency because you have higher interest rates in Switzerland when it comes to keeping your money in their banks, but there's a bunch of tax incentives of keeping your money offshore. Just because the U.S. government starts taxing people a certain amount doesn't mean that they're going to end up, finding some kind of loophole in a different country with offshore accounts, so that they could do so. And I mean, you guys.
Yeah, sir.
I'm just saying you guys are going to end up doing the same exact thing. You guys are going to start making some good money. There's different cycles to this. So right now you're trying to master your skill first and make some money. Second, once you start making this money, what do you do with it? Third, okay, how do I keep as much as I can without giving it to the government? It's a game. Money is a tool. And that's it. Let's see. Okay, cool. Perfect. I ordered that nano ledger for crypto yesterday, so I'm waiting on it. When it comes to taxes, though, this is pretty interesting. Taxes. This is a good thing for us to watch. You guys want to know about the history of taxes? There you go. Basically, right now, we should not have any income tax. It's a scam. And listen to how that happened.
When we hear about taxes, we hear about Democrats raise taxes, Republicans lower taxes. But when you study the history of taxes in the U.S., there's going to be many things today we're going to say, you got to be kidding me, Pat. Who came up with the IRS? You're going to be blown away about who came up with the IRS. The whole idea of holding your taxes when you get paid in your payroll, who came up with that idea? Which president raised the national debt the most? Which president raised the percentage and dollar amount? Then we're going to talk about the correlation between war and taxes and why does the U.S. have so many military bases around the world compared to Russia, China, France. All of that stuff we're covered in today's episode. All right, let's stick around till the very end because I want to have my final thoughts on the PDF for you. But let's get right into it. 1754 to 1763. During that time, the French-Indian War took place, which the Brits started taxing the colonists. And the colonists said, wait a minute, why are you raising taxes without asking us? How come we don't have any kind of representation? That led to taxation without representation. American Revolution began, and the founders wanted lower taxes and representation, which led to 1775 to 1783, the American Revolutionary War. By the time it was done, obviously, U.S. became a country, and U.S. had two forms of taxes, tariffs and excise taxes. So that led to the Tariff Act of 1789, which was a 50-cent tax on foreign ships per ton, and it was 6-cent tax on American-owned vessels per ton. Okay, so that's 1789. Then we go to 1792 to 1802, which was the French Revolutionary War, and this introduced us to property taxes. And then in 1812 to 1815, it was the War of 1812. U.S. declared war against the Brits because the negotiation was going nowhere, so Madison wasn't happy about it. And by the way, the whole story about Star Spangled Banner comes from the War of 1812. So now it's when the juicy stuff begins. So in 1861 to 1865, Civil War breaks out in America, right? It wasn't pretty, it was ugly, very expensive. That's when in 1862, a president known as one of the greatest presidents of all time, if not the greatest president of all time, Lincoln, came up with the Revenue Act of 1862, which lasted for 10 years. And in 1862 was the first ever progressive tax, 3% on income earners between $600 to $10,000 a year, 5% on those making $10,000 or more. Only about 10% of Americans pay taxes. Abraham Lincoln, known as one of the greatest presidents of all time. I have him in one of my paintings in my office on July 1st, 1862. You know what he started? You know what he introduced to us? An organization you may have heard of before called the IRS. Yes, the IRS was started under Lincoln in 1862 with the idea of having the tax withholding system, which means you make $1,000 in a month. They wanted the employer to withhold the taxes to pay to the government. Why? Because Lincoln said, folks, we just had the Civil War. Very costly, very expensive. We got to pay this off. We need you to agree to pay some federal income taxes. But when we pay it off, we're going to get away with this. So guess what happened? Started in 1862. Do you think the federal income tax ever went away? It did. 10 years later, 1872, they said we paid off the war. Guess what? No more taxes. They went away with taxes and went back to what it used to be before. In 1894, Pollock versus Farmers Loan and Trust Company, 1895, Congress tried to impose a 2% tax on earnings in excess of $4,000. In 1894, tax was challenged.
Guys, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
Can you guys still hear this once I mute it?
No.
No.
Striking down the tax because you can.
When I mute, you can't hear it at all?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Here you go.
Cannot go out there and tax anybody for no reason. Union Party, the Populist Party, and the Democratic Party says we got to figure something out to be able to tax people. What is this all about? So in 1913, we came up with the 16th Amendment, and here's how it reads. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without appointment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. So that's how the first permanent income was levied in 1913, influenced by the Socialist Labor Party, the Populist Party, and the Democratic Party. It was 1% for those earning between $0 to $20,000, 2% for those 20 to 50, 3% for 50 to 75, 4% for 75 to 100, 5% for 100 to 250, 6% for 250 to half a mil, and then 7% for 500,000 plus. So keep this in mind. So far we have the French and Indian War, we have the American Revolutionary War, we have the French Revolutionary War, we have the War of 1812, we have the Civil War, and then that leads to World War I, 1914 to 1918, which U.S. got involved April 2nd, 1917. Why does this matter? Because if you go back and look at the taxes, in 1916, the top line taxes was 15%. The moment we got involved in 1917, taxes went up to 67%. So that was another reason why taxes went up. Again, war. So then that goes to 1929 to 1933. Great Depression takes place. FDR is the president. And in 1933, FDR's New Deal is being launched, and there's two plans to it. Part one of the deal included the Banking Act of 1933 and the Securities Act of 1933, and part two of it was in 1935, which introduced Social Security, minimum wage, Fair Labor Standard Act, and by 1936, the top tax rate hit 79%, and the economy's output plummeted. What we still haven't covered is World War II from 1939 to 1945, which the U.S. got involved on December 7th, 1941. So combining the Great Depression and World War II led to, in 1945, when FDR died, the top marginal tax rate hit 94%. From 1940 to 1963, the top marginal tax rate hovered between 81 to 91%. That's for 24 years, 81 to 91%. By the way, just some fun facts for you. In 1939, 4 million Americans filed taxes. They raised $900 million of tax revenue. By 1943, 41 million people filed taxes for $13 billion of tax revenue. And 2 years later, 43 million people filed taxes, and the government's revenue went to $45 billion. So remember how in 1862, Lincoln comes out with the IRS and says, listen, we need to raise money, we need to raise taxes because the Civil War was so expensive that it led to them coming up with a tax withholding system, which means the employer is about to pay the employee $1,000, let's just say, they withhold the taxes and they send to the government. Remember that? And then it went away because Lincoln said, when we pay off this debt, this income tax will go away. And in 1872, it went away. Well, let's come to 1943. The war is still going on, World War II. The party, the socialists, the liberals, the Democrats went to get help from a guy named Milton Friedman, where in 1943, he helped the tax withholding system become official, where they could start taking taxes out of your income with the employer sending the money to the government. Essentially, the employer became the tax collector, not the government. And here's what Milton Friedman had to say about this later on in life. This would have been introduced had I been involved or not. At the time, we concentrated single-mindedly on promoting the war effort. We gave next to no consideration to any longer-term consequences. It never occurred to me that at the time I was helping to develop machinery that would make possible a government that I would come to criticize severely as too large, too intrusive, too disruptive of freedom, yet that was precisely what I was doing. Quote, Milton Friedman. So you may be saying, what's the big deal about this? I'm sure, leave alone. You didn't got Milton Friedman in your painting. Why are you making such a big deal about this? Here's why. Because when Lincoln did it, he said, when we pay off all the costs that we paid for the war, Civil War, we will stop income taxes. However, in 1913, when Wilson introduced this, saying when we pay off the bill for World War I, when FDR said, when we pay off the bill for World War II, we will stop taking income taxes, it never went away. It became permanent. And then the tax withholding system checked, made it very permanent. FYI, you know how old this is? 78 years old. That's it. The whole tax withholding thing, which you're getting to when you get, or getting to when you give somebody takes all the taxes out, it's only 78 years old. Why? So here's what's crazy about it. This entire time, Democrats are raising taxes. You got Wilson, you got FDR here, taxes raised 94%, 81%, all this stuff. And then a JFK shows up and says, what do we do? Why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep raising taxes? It is time to lower taxes. And he gives this legendary speech in August of 1962, and here's what he had to say. A creative tax cut, creating more jobs, income, and eventually more revenue. And the right time for that kind of bill now appears in the absence of an economic crisis today, and if the job is to be done in a responsible way, is January 1963. Such a bill will be presented to the Congress for action next year. It will include an across-the-board, top-to-bottom, cut in both corporate and personal income taxes. It will include long-needed tax reforms that logic and equity demand. And it will date that cutting taxes to take effect as of the start of next year, January 1963. The billions of dollars this bill will place in the hands of the consumer and our businessmen will both have immediate and permanent benefits to our economy. Every dollar released from taxation that is spent or invested will help create a new job and a new salary. And these new jobs and new salaries can create other jobs and other salaries, and more customers and more growth for an expanding American economy. A Democratic president for tax cuts and for entrepreneurs. Go figure. How confusing is this so far, right? By the way, when he said January 1st, 1963, he gave the speech on August 13 of 62. He died next year, November 22nd. The tax bill went into effect 64 under Lyndon Johnson, and here's what it looked like.
Imagine you had invested in Google, Tesla, or Bitcoin back in 2009. Here's the next big opportunity.
If you're an accredited investor, I have something I think you're going to want to listen to.
I consider it big news, but in a sense, it's old news.
Like he took the top line from 91 to 70%, and he took corporate taxes from 52 to 48%. This is in 1964 when this came out. 17 years later, in 1981, we have.
Oh, we gotta pause this. We just had PCE come out. Is it interesting so far to you
I banked $50 on this.
on this move?
Yep.
Beautiful.
And I closed whole position, but I think that this was the intention of this whole drop, to get to the lows on the daily time frame.
Yep.
And to reject from it and go all the way up.
If you take a look, we've been in this downshift, this bearish trend. We create this new low. Could we be coming right back up to retest this area again, and then continue right back down to retest that low?
Most probably.
But also, we're rejecting the bullish trend over here too. We retapped this area like we said we would, and now we're rejecting that area.
This 4-hour candle is most likely just be a huge rejection of this area down there.
Oh yeah. End up holding support over there.
Yeah, I closed this trade on 40 pips, but it was really small position. But
Okay, cool.
I entered when 1 minute started rejecting from down there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Little snipe. You entered it?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm 150 up today.
Wow. There you go, man.
And gained 60% of my account in 2 days.
In 60% in 2 days? Is that what you said?
Yeah. No, I decided to. I'm trading 0.5. Yeah, I'm trading 0.5 lots.
So 6%.
I'm risking 10% per trade because it's small account. When I get to 10%, I risk 10% usually. This was a small position.
Okay, and also you're off that challenge.
Yesterday I was up 32%, and today I think no, nothing. Just my own account, small account. I made a $500 deposit, and that's it.
Beautiful.
And when I come to 1K, I'm gonna cut the risk in half. As I manage to grow my account, then I will lower the risk, because there's no point for me in trading 1% on $500 account. That's nothing. I mean, it's 5-cent lot.
Okay. Now are you done for the week?
I'm definitely done for the week. I just closed my MetaTrader, and
There you go, man.
I'm gonna leave my trading view open and Zoom, and that's it. That's it.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, guys, I'm about to hop off. You guys have a great weekend. Remember what I said about the weekend? Spend some time with family, but also prepare yourself for the next week. Let's have a monster week next week, even better than this past week, and let's kill it. All right. So, Stipe, I will see you soon. Carlos, great weekend, buddy.
Are we gonna go right now or later?
No, I'm actually gonna make some breakfast real quick, and then we'll hop on. I'll send you the Zoom link.
Can we reschedule it? I'm kind of in hurry.
Yeah, of course.
Are you free later today?
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow. It's Saturday.
Possibly later today. We'll play it by ear.
Yeah, a friend called me. I gotta go to the work, so
Sure.
It's nothing. It's kind of important, so
Yeah, of course. Go make
I gotta go make some real money.
Secure the bag. That's most important.
Yeah, that's
All right,
the 100% profit.
All right, man. Yeah, let me know what you want to do, and we'll play it by ear on Slack.
Okay, of course.
All right, man.
Appreciate it. I'm sorry for this.
No, you're good. You're good, man. Carlos, have a
you.
great weekend, buddy.
All right, man. All right, you too. All right, you
All
too,
right,
Sipo. Have a great weekend.
You
Appreciate it.
guys have a great week.
See you, boys.